This episode is brought to you by Kimball's Cookies, custom cookies for every occasion. And by Matthews Arcade, custom-built arcade games. And Kinesi Shoes, feed the flame.
It's the Guapo Show with your hosts, Guapo. Tonight's guests are Paul Banky, Olga Camacho, and Julieta Okot. And here's your host, Guapo.
How you doing, Olga?
Hi, John. Hi, Paul. How are you? I'm doing great. I'm happy to see you, re-energized. You look tired yesterday. Well, actually, it was yesterday afternoon coming back from your amazing trip.
Yeah. How was the trip, Paul?
It's okay, but let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about that. It was a great trip.
All right, Paul Becky, get started. You carry us tonight. I'm tired.
No, because it's a girl thing. Let the girls go. Let's share.
Olga.
You guys both of you, Olga and Julieta. You guys are both on a national team. You're on an Olympic team. You're on both teams together, right? The wrestling team, right?
Not on the Olympic team. No, the Olympic team, women's in the Olympics got inducted in 2004, if I'm correct. I retired in 1998, was my last nationals, which I played 99, actually. So I started back in Skyline College back in 92. My coach, Lee Allen, who was a pioneer in wrestling, he had a vision for women's wrestling. He knew it was the way to go. And he started recruiting women, and everybody kept saying, no, even me, in 1990, he started recruiting me. And I was like, no, I'm doing that country track and field. I don't want to do that. I don't want to break a shoulder or a leg or anything. But I said, as soon as my Olympics finish, I will come back. And for 3 years, he insisted, 2 years. And when I came back and I started wrestling. So the first time I wrestled for him, actually,
you started refereeing? You started refereeing?
I started wrestling.
Oh, I see. Refereeing after you wrestled. Okay.
Yeah. So how I met Coach, I took a self-defense class with him, and he did a mini unit in wrestling, and I guess I did good. And he's like, "Oh, you're pretty vicious. You gotta wrestle." So after 3 years back in, that was the beginning of every woman that he will see, he wanted to recruit. It was definitely a pioneer, a visionary that he wanted women to be part of this amazing sport.
And what age were you at that age? What age are you?
I was really old, actually. I came to this country in 1985. I was almost December 85, 17 years old. I speak English, didn't know anybody here. Well, my aunt was here, but I met her when I came here. So I started learning English. And then 2 years later, I began to go to Skyline College, take more English classes, ESL classes and stuff. My dog here. And that's how I got involved with sports. I never joined any organized sports whatsoever. I always just like to play, with the guys, be a tomboy and run like crazy, be a sport, be an athlete, but never had an organized sport until I came here.
And wrestling was your first sport?
Cross country, track and field at Skyline College. That also the first time I did the first practice, I told my coach I wanted to join. He laughed at me.
What happened to the dog? Why does he have the thing around his neck?
He broke his leg 2 months ago, and he's still. Look at that! He went into the.
How did he get hurt? Did he get hit by a car?
When my son was, he threw a ball. He jumped, and when he landed on wood, he broke the leg. And now, after 2 weeks, it's not healing. So unfortunately, they may have to amputate the leg. So yes.
So, Olga, so when did you meet Julieta? When you and Julieta, when you guys was the first time you guys met? What happened? Where at?
Julieta, you wanna talk about that?
The first time you guys met each other.
This is Julieta from Bulgaria.
Yes, I came to this country. I didn't swim many channels or whatever. I came by airplane. People ask me, how did you came to this country? Yes, I'm from Bulgaria originally, Eastern European, which is Bulgaria. It's part of the Balkan Peninsula, where in the middle you have Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, Turkey. So we grew up, basically, I'm not your typical, of course, Eastern European looking. My second language is Russian besides Bulgarian. So I can be a spy if things happen. But
For real?
yes, for real. And, sport was very normal thing, especially for women. But of course, when you hear wrestling, it was a little bit off, even though judo was already an Olympic sport. Judo was an Olympic sport in 1992 games in Barcelona. So every sport has a certain time of period. So my major was, I was also track and field. I was not very talented because they say, oh, you have African blood. My father is Kenyan, so you may run fast or you do this. But anyway, I have to put a lot of effort to achieve certain level in track and field. I ran 400-meter hurdles, and I entered the National Sports Academy when I graduated. And that's my major. I'm a track and field coach and teacher of physical education. But meanwhile, I started with Olympic weightlifting. So I was also Olympic weightlifter while I was at the university. I also reached a very good national level. We have certain qualifications like a master's or, different categories. I achieved that. And then when I graduated, 1994, Bulgaria hosted a world championship and we didn't have a team. So my professor said, oh, Julieta, you're very fast. You're an Olympic weightlifter. How about you become a wrestler? We're going to have a world championship in 2 months in Bulgaria. I say, yeah, why not? And of course, when you're a teacher, we study all the sports. Like we really study. I was very good in gymnastics. You have to be very good in all the sports to enter the sports academy. So I was good in everything, very good. So that's how we were 3 weightlifters, women weightlifters, and weightlifting was not an Olympic sport. Now the next sport, weightlifting was not an Olympic sport. It became an Olympic sport 2000. So sometimes it takes a period of 15 years before a sport get accepted, especially like for women in the Olympic family. So basically, we learned a good takedown. We were very good with lifting, and we actually did a wrestle off and we beat all the judo girls to make the team. So I was on the first national team, which participated in the first world championship. We didn't even have a national championship. I made the team for the worlds. I got slapped on my first match, whatever, to a big Canadian girl. And anyway, but I made the team. I carried the flag. We were the first one to start. And next year, I already graduated from the sports academy. Actually, I won the first ever, I considered, in the world wrestling scholarship, and I went to study in England for my master's degree. So it was very interesting that they accepted me. You have to speak English, you have to have a bachelor's degree, and that's how I ended up in England. And with the British team, with some of the British girls, that's my first travel to America. So they said, oh, we are going to Las Vegas. So I said, great, we're going to Las Vegas in America. But guess what? We landed in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we were in Las Vegas, New Mexico, because they have an old university there, and that's where US has their national US Open. So we basically could participate in the US Open because it's open. It's not open now. And that's how I met the first women in sports, and Olga became my best friend. and Afsun, who is not here because she's still recovering from COVID. But just to give you a little background for Afsun, Afsun originally is from Iran. Her family ran, they have the revolution back then. They have to, they moved to Germany.
And then she's from Iran, correct?
She's from Iran, yes.
Okay.
Iran, American said. Iran, yes. So
Iran.
when you stay on the stands and you don't say Iran, you say Iran, Iran. That's how you say it. Anyway, correcting the Americans, yeah. So she's originally from Iran, and of course, I met her at that US Open. They have a training camp there. She invited me to train with her, and actually the British team left. I stayed, and but then Afsun didn't qualify because she was beaten by another wrestler, Trish Sanders, who they were very, very close rivals. And Trish Sanders is actually one of the most decorated American wrestler, pioneer also, 4-time world champion. And then Olga came all the way from San Francisco to pick me up in Davis, California. And I work in Olga's aunt restaurant. I ate, I trained with her. We ran. She had 3 jobs, and she will come. We're gonna run Lake Merced in San Francisco. I lost weight because for 10 days I gained 10 pounds. That's how the American food reflected on my body when I came from England. So I went back to England and I competed at the 1996 World Championship, which was in Bulgaria again. So thanks to Olga, thanks to Afsun, who invited me, put me out of my comfort zone. I met most of the American women who, become world medalists. And those are the first pioneers, strongest women, including with Olga and Coach Lee Allen, who is Olga's first coach. And he's actually pioneer in California as a coach. He's also known to be 2-time Olympian in Greco-Roman and freestyle. 1956 and 1960. So his daughters become great wrestlers. We hope we're going to invite one of the daughters, Catherine.
Is he living today? He would be pretty old, 50 and 50s.
Coach passed away 2012.
2012.
2012. But he was a father to everybody, especially for Olga. And it takes really people with a special, especially men who have to teach the women how to wrestle, to transform the lives of, and really convince you, and you have to believe. There are a lot of aspects of that. But I went back to England, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, vision for us, for all of us. We didn't see ourselves there, but he did.
Well, they did, and you have to really trust. You have to believe. And those basically, we paved the way for all the women around the world. As a matter of fact, Latino women, we had a friend who lives here from Venezuela. Her name is Olga Lugo. She's also a world champion. I hope one day you can meet her. But Latin women are actually pioneers in women's wrestling in the world.
I like that, Julia. You say you pay the way. I like that. Let me ask you a question.
My point is, sometimes people underestimate, people are categorized in, this category or that. No. Latin women are pioneers. And
Julia, let me ask you a question.
You have to give a great credit, for that. And Miss Camacho, Olga Lara, as a Latin woman, her desire, her passion, her energy, to come, everybody who comes with no English to graduate from San Francisco State University, this is a great achievement. I was tired that I just worked in a restaurant for 2 months when I was here. Olga worked 3 jobs and she has her son. I was like, I don't know how. When she sleep and she ran faster than me. It's like, who's going to the world championship here? So, there are a lot of aspects how we helped. Doesn't matter from where. And, in our world, everything is like become really global. We helped each other. We don't say, oh, you're American, you're this. No. You're women or you wrestle. Yes. So it, that's how we met. I came one more time. I have to go back. I finished my university in England, and then I decided to come back to America. And that's how my journey started here. I continue living. Thank God I could speak English, which helped me, but also I have friends. I have Olga, I have Coach, I have other people. I worked in a restaurant. People donated checks to me. So, we can continue training. We were coaching, and our team, San Francisco Grapplers, actually, we are the first national champion in women's wrestling. The first title.
What was it attached to? Like, it was just like a club team that you, outside of anything else? It wasn't a college or high school team or anything. It was just like a separate organization?
We train like Olga started at Skyland, which we train in Skyland. And actually we train at Catholic schools, which, you are not allowed to. And I even take a shower there. They guarded me. I will take a shower then, and, But what was the school we went to, Olga? The Catholic school?
Catholic school. Riordan High School.
Riordan High School. Yeah, we were training there.
But we trained mainly at Skyland College with the Peninsula Grapplers Club. It was a club because it was not a high school sanction event. Yes. It wasn't in college yet. So it was just the beginning. The beginning.
Because you wanted to do it. And it's just funny the way Julieta said it. San Francisco Grapplers just sounds dangerous, right, Paul Banky? I wouldn't want to run to anybody named San Francisco Grapplers.
San Francisco Peninsula Grapplers. It sounds
dangerous.
It doesn't sound, and people have very interesting perception. We did a lot of a demonstration, like in malls, and people say, "Oh, so you wrestle with mud?" People, of course, up to this day, they're not educated. People are not educated because you don't see that. Oh, now you see a lot, the judo, you see MMA, you see, the jiu-jitsu. They all have the basic of wrestling. You can't.
Juliet, let me ask you three questions, okay? First of all, 1, 2, 3, your country, is it communist, socialist? Wait, is it communist, socialist? I'm not too sure. Second is, it must be an honor to be an athlete in your country and to represent your country so that your country must be love the Olympians or love the athletes. And 3 is, I remember the Bulgarian team having us when the Olympic Games come. A big USA team walking down the aisle, and I think I remember the Bulgarian team, small team, walking down.
Yes,
right?
we are small. We're a very small country, but we're very decorated. So as I said, when we grew up, we say the expensive perfumes, they're in the small bottles. So let me explain that. Of course, sports in our countries, we're former communist country, of course. We grew up, so even like East Germany, 70% of the population have to exercise, so they're very athletic nation. We play sports since first grade. Everything was perfect, organized. Basically, it was not like, oh, I want to play this and then I can drop it. And no. You start, you finish it, and then maybe you go to the next level. So, they will come, they will have coaches, they will have specialists who will come to the schools. They will select the kids according to their physical characteristics, tall, anything, and they send them to different sports. That's how we started. Then when you go to the sports school, they're like a boarding school. So you can sleep, you can eat, you train, you stay there. So basically, we didn't see our families. We lived in those, like you're in a boarding school, in sports school. So everything, it was very, when you do something, you have a responsibility. That's why sometimes you see Russians, they took second in Olympic and they're sad. Yeah, because they expect them to be the first. Yeah, so it's not like, oh, you can play and this, it's a responsibility for us. And the second question is, everybody, people were proud. you're proud to go and represent your country because, of course, you're shown on television. But in sports, like new sports like ours, we were bullied in the beginning. Oh, yeah, we wrestle for peace. We're like peacemakers, and, we wrestle for peace. People will joke. But eventually, when it become an Olympic, and it's still underestimated. I don't want to say more things to spoil the whole pie here. But I can be very honest and direct, but let's make it more pleasant.
Right.
It's true, though. It's true.
Positive, but everything which we do, it's actually very positive because, I left the country. I was very proud that, I was selected to study at that prestigious university in UK. And then I came over here. So we started building our life. But we were born, and we were at that time when everything was changing. The Chinese proverb said to be born in time of change. That's like a curse. That's not good. So we were in that stage when the communist system fell down. That was 1989. I was first year student in Bulgaria. So after that, things were not settled. A lot of people start moving. That's what people say. So why did you go to England? Why did you go to America? Yeah, because we were not settled. Well, we had education, we had this, we that, but we had no future.
And back then, like women today in any kind of contact sport, there's hope for like a pro career, UFC, or even pro women's boxing and everything. Back then, nothing, zero.
No. People
nothing,
Julia, is it communist or socialist country?
No, Bulgaria is not a communist country, but it's changing very slowly. Just to tell you how the thinking of Eastern Europeans. For example, we have Paul, since he's a boxer. I will tell you, the only person who beat Mayweather at the Olympic Games. Guess where he's from? He's from Bulgaria. Serafim to the
Is that right? Wow!
Exactly.
Look at you.
Bulgarian. He beat him, and they asked him. I just saw a recent interview. He lived in a very big poverty, but they asked him to come and train and go to the professional boxing, and he said no, because people didn't have the mind back then that it's like you're cheating. It's like you're cheating on your country and this, and you see where Mayweather is. I mean, how it is. And you see where, our people are because of the thinking, of the mentality. In wrestling, we have Kurt Angle, who went to the WW. And they say, oh, yeah, you cheater, that's not the real wrestling. Oh, no. To be there, you have to have the skills. But he makes his money.
So you don't have no professional athletes in your country?
I'm sorry?
You do have professional athletes.
No, we don't. We didn't
No
have.
soccer team? No soccer team?
No. The soccer team, let me tell you how the soccer team came. So after the breakup of the Soviet, of the system, of the communist system, then we were democracy. So a lot of soccer players, they went to Europe, they went everywhere to play. Like we have Stoichkov, who play with in Barcelona, and he's the most famous person. Hristo Stoichkov, he's number 8, Barcelona. Everybody knows that. So all these guys, they went to play in Bayern Munich, all these top European teams or Latin teams. And when they had the World Championship, that's the first time they really got together, and they didn't have that rivalry. They didn't have that diva attitude because they were still thinking we have to be together. We have to do everything together. And that's how 1994, when they have the World Championship in United States, Bulgaria took 4th. Italians, sorry for the Italians, but their mafia, they screwed us up. We beat Germany. We beat the world champion Germany. We beat Mexico. Sorry for Olga. We beat Mexico, because those are considered the biggest power. Mexico is a world champion. You have Uruguay, Paraguay back in the time. Those were big power in soccer. But we beat Germany.
This is the classiest way to talk trash I've ever seen. She's talking trash to everybody, but in like the most eloquent way.
It's not. I'm just saying the facts.
She's not talking trash. She's telling the way it is. She's not saying trash. It's just that's the way it
you know what
is.
I'm saying. It's the most
But that's how it
eloquent
is.
way.
Those were
Yeah.
the powers. Mexico was powerful.
And she's not talking trash. She's just saying the way it is. Everybody knows the way it is. Well, we all know. Some people know the way it is.
We
You know?
had the revolution.
Olga knows because she brought her own stories.
Yeah.
I think yes, I got it. I know you try to be, but that's how it is. We beat Germany. The German embassy, they already have champagne and this, and then they stopped giving visas to the Bulgarians because they were so mad that we beat Germany. And in the streets in Bulgaria was like revolution. It's like a new revolution. People were out, people were happy. That was a big thing. We never repeat that. We never qualify because then they saw what the money is. They saw what it, the other world, and they become divas. And that's how things break.
Go ahead. Both of you girls, I'm sure you missed this. I miss that. You guys gotta miss the sport. You gotta miss the rush when you're winning, the energy, with your friends, fam. That's excitement. I'm sure you miss it, don't you guys?
Everybody
Olga?
misses. You're like we athletes are like actors, and you go to depression, you go up and down. That's why you see how things. Olga has her son, then she started teaching. She got married. She chose her priorities.
She does bike rides.
Yes, well, she can afford that. She can afford that to go, and to keep it up, and also kept your mind to move forward. But then we all have to find a ways, and we got really old by the time we got inducted to the Olympics. We were late 30s. It was challenging, but we did it. So now the young ones can just like walk. They have they get supported. They have stipends. They have everything. We didn't. What
was the goal back then for you guys? So you're doing this. You love this. Was there any hope of anything back then? Like, was there any kind of rumors of professional athletics for you guys, or what were you thinking at the time? You just know it's going to end, and do you hope to coach from it? Do you hope to? So, what is your goal back then? Like when you're doing this?
Nobody thinks.
You know what, John? I think they probably just to traveling and represent their country is an awesome thing, right? You want to, and then you got to travel. You got to travel, which was like. For me, for all of them, I'm sure for them too, was awesome to go traveling around the world and doing their sport, right?
Yeah, I would have never thought in my life I was going to be in Japan or France and Canada. Like you said, poor Mexican, right? How am I going to travel? It was not on my vision, but thanks to this able.
When I say that, let me rephrase. When I say poor Mexican, let me tell you real quick. Poor Mexican. When I say that, Mexicans are a hard-working thing, guys. You know what I'm saying? When I say that, we're hard workers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like we're poor. Poor men. We work our ass off. You know what I'm saying?
I know. You're poor as in financially, but we are
because we didn't have the support. We have to fundraise for every travel. We have to fundraise.
Right.
I worked in a restaurant and people give me checks. I got a check for $500 tip, one of the family, just for me to go and train. Olga was already teaching, but you want to continue. You have to find a ways. And people are very nice. People are generous, and they will find a way to support you and do what you have to do. You have a certain window. Everybody has a small window. For us, a small window to do what you have to do. There's no money involved. It's not about the money. It's something you do.
Right.
And people will say, you know what? I wish I could do that. No, everybody can do. As a matter of fact, I don't want to be too chatty now. We were at All Sports Dinner, not All Sports Dinner. Billie Jean King, the tennis player.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm just saying that she has her foundation. So every year at Waldorf Astoria in New York, they will have they will get, women's sports foundation. They will get the best athletes there. So I actually met Billie Jean King in person. We talk, and they introduced her. That say Julieta, she's a wrestler, and she said, "I always wanted to wrestle." She couldn't. Well, she proved her point in a different way, very strong. But we also have to prove our ways that we're women. And wrestling is nothing. Oh, you have to be strong. You have to be like a King Kong. People will come and touch you. And, it's like, oh, you're a wrestler? It's like, what do you expect? To, how do you think we look like? We're normal women. We're normal women. Sports give you certain characteristic. Yeah, we get muscular, we get this. But that's the sport. That's not for the whole life. Actors, they got pumped up for a movie like Troy or whatever. Do you think they're going to stay like Hercules whole their life? No.
Yeah. Julieta, you sound like, it sounds like are you still involved with it? You're still involved with it, right?
I'm not really involved, but there was a time where between the two Olympic cycles, 2004 and 8, I had like a year. Again, you go through changes and everything. And I started doing sports photography. There was a guy who actually, even gave me camera. We travel, and I did start doing sports photography. So this way you can also stay in the sport and you can see everything through the eyes of the lens. I donated a lot of photos to the African nations, Canada, Germany. Again, it's not about the money. I traveled to China on my own expenses. I didn't have the money, but found them, traveled, took the photos, donated. That's it.
Olga, you know what? Olga, you being an athlete, you're still out there, you're still working out, you're still hiking. I went hiking with you guys. You guys go bike riding. You also do that bike hike up the hill. Thank God I didn't do that. But you're still working out, right? You're still working. You don't even know. That's just natural for you. That's natural for you. Right, Olga?
Yes, it is a lifestyle. Like I said, when I was little, I used to go in Mexico. There's a place called Barrancas where you just run. It's like going into the earth down and you have to come back. And I just used to do that just for fun. So it is on me. It is now that when I became a teacher, I became to hopefully motivate our students, and not just students, friends and family, to be healthy and to have a better life, by being healthy. And that's my goal. And I was in a middle school for 23 years. Last year I moved to a high school that didn't have a high school program. So I started a high school program. You have to go through a process of petition and blah, blah, blah. And we were able to get it. We got a team. And then now, unfortunately, we have COVID, and we'll see what happens. But I'm still involved with sports. I have coached cross country, track and field, basketball, volleyball, soccer. So I have been involved with sports, and mainly my goal is to motivate people to have a lifelong healthy.
Were the sports all shut down this year because of COVID? Did they have seasons or nothing?
Everything is being shut down as it is right now. Maybe in February we may have like a short version of all the fall sports and then a short version of the spring sports, but it's all in standby to be
no concrete plans yet. Nothing.
No, nothing. So but meanwhile you still have to train. You have to be ready because you never know when they're going to call you, when they're going to be competition, when it's going to be competition. But going back into wrestling with Ovsun, she's one of the pioneers that started back in 1989. And yeah, like Julieta says, there was no funding, back then. When I came in 1992, 93, I became national team member in 96, 97, 98. By that time, those girls, Tricia Sander, Shannon Williams, who else, Julieta? Irish Smith, they have all done the work.
Is there anybody still involved that you guys wrestled with back then, or that they're coaching on a Olympic level now, or anything like that? Or is it kind of they all moved on? Because I guess they would have had to wait a long time to get involved before anything really happened. And it would be, I guess even opportunities like UFC weren't going to be, they were 10 years away minimum. So you were there was really nowhere to go. And if you loved wrestling, you kind of hit the end of the road. And where would you go? I guess coaching at a college
Coaching in
would
a
be
college.
the goal, right? That would be the
Coaching
ideal
in a college.
situation.
Right. I know of soon became like assistant coach for a few teams. And then in 2000,
2016 for the Olympic in Rio, she was chosen as a coach also. But she's the first world medalist for United States. Actually, 1989, when was the first wrestling championship in Switzerland. I don't think she competed because she was on a green card, but she didn't have a passport. So you see, you have also these obstacles, and I went through the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but you're not still.
Wait a minute, what year was the first woman to what? The first one to what?
She's the
Wrestling?
first woman to receive a medal from a world championship of swim.
From
Yes.
Oh, is that right? And what year was that?
89.
92, she said, or 91?
89 was the bronze, and 1990 was the silver.
But that's the first time a woman got in that sport, right?
In United American women.
So 89 was the first world championship for women?
1989, yeah.
89, okay.
89.
Switzerland. Yeah, Martinji, Switzerland. Yes, but in Europe also I trained in France. When I was in England, I trained in France with some of the world medalists. Actually, the girl I trained with, she's the one Olga Lugo beat.
What is her name? And what is her name?
Olga Lugo from Venezuela. Yes. So
she lives close by you, I believe, John.
In New Jersey?
No, she's in Wisconsin.
She's right.
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, she's not even. Yeah. She's in like the Midwest somewhere. Yeah.
Yes. She's next to Chicago, out of Chicago. But she also lived in California, but those are the women who put the dots, and especially in Russia now, they are part of the national governing body. They are team leaders. They are team coaches. They really respect them. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, it's a black belt, and years ago, I think it was already 8 years ago, they tried to drop the Olympic game, the wrestling from the Olympic Games, and they have to have a lot of celebrity involved. But
what was the reasoning? Why did they want to drop wrestling?
Because they say it was not attractive. Of course, there was a lot of corruption, and I think they wanted a little reconstruction and remodeling behind the door. So, if they do that, this means countries in Eastern Europe or whatever where the sports are huge. Iran, Turkey, those are national sports. They're number one. So you can't drop it because it's not going to work. But they start working how to improve, how to make it. They changed the uniforms, they changed the mats, they made it more American kind of showcase, out of the standard. And Mr. Vladimir Putin was a big part of that. Like every athlete who won Olympic medal, he gets $1 million, Mercedes, and apartment just by winning a medal at Olympic
That's
Games.
a hard thing. That's only a handful of people, though.
No, a lot of people will do that, and that's my point. Is that they support the sport in a proper way here too. I mean, you get endorsement, and depends which sport, but. Women's wrestling is still trying to get out of the shadow of the men. I would say that it's always more coverage. It's always about the men. People really have to, especially if you're a coach, you have to be able to understand women. And things are moving. They have a lot of varsity. Like the first varsity team was in Minnesota Storm, and they start opening now. More, over the years, and you have girl coaches, head coaches, like women's head coaches, and yes, that's a very normal process, and should be like that, and should be look always like, oh yeah, a women's wrestler, they're wrestler. It's athlete. We are athletes. Those girls, they're athletes.
Do most colleges have female wrestling teams?
They do. They have places where they, They still, if they're conservative, they will not. But yeah, they do. If not, women will find a ways to go and find their own way.
So
But,
just compare it to 1992 to now. Would you say there are many more female wrestling programs at colleges, or a
In
handful
high
more?
back then, they didn't have wrestling problems. That's why I said
None.
95 when I went to UK. There was no wrestling scholarship. I was the one. Well, for some reason I was maybe lucky or something, but I did. We were part of, we were 5 Eastern European. I was the only wrestler. The other ones was like traditional fencers and stuff. And that's how things started. But it gives you a boost that.
Somebody's got to be the first one, and it makes things easier for everybody after them.
But people didn't know, people didn't understand, people didn't comprehend. Up to these days, sometimes people don't comprehend, and people really ask you very strange questions. But it's about education. So the more we talk, the more we say, all the ones like us, you put the seeds. You have to put the seeds. When they're gonna grow, that's not it's out of our jurisdiction. We did our share. We are happy. We are proud. And it created a special mind to keep you young, especially when you coach, when you teach like Olga. I didn't choose the path to, continue teaching. But sometimes when I do, or, I do clinics or I do motivational, this is my power. And, everybody finds his own way to feel powerful and share really what it is. Thank God I speak English. Imagine if I didn't speak English.
Hey, thank you. Listen, that's me, guys. Well, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. You guys got the computer at home. I got my hands tired. My light went on. The rest it's going to turn off pretty soon. I want to let you know, because I ain't keep you. It's going to hang up pretty soon. My hands getting damn tired. You guys got the computer at home.
One question for both of you then. What is your proudest moment looking back on your wrestling days? Is there one moment that stands out above the rest, or what would you say, like the shining moment that you look back on?
Ms. Camacho.
I believe when I was, 1998, when I took second and the nationals, that I should have taken first, but and I made my coach proud. Made my coach proud, and I have I wanted to show a little bit of my son did a nice little surprise for me one time. I don't know if you can see it.
That's very nice.
My cross country, and so those are the ones that I.
That's real nice.
That's very nice, actually.
Where do you have those at? Where do you have those at? Yeah, I see those when I went over. Where are they at?
In the garage. They were there by the bicycles, actually. Because
you know what? You're right. I did see them. You're right. I did see them.
Planning on taking them to my school, because that's when my son just made it not too long ago. He surprised me. I went to his house and he's like, "Look what I have for you." But I was like, "Yeah, this is for my school to motivate my students." No, and I never been at school yet this year because COVID. So
you haven't been in person at school yet?
No, haven't been in school.
Goodness.
Just like you in your gym.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you're right, because March was the last time my gym was open, and it doesn't look good till at least the summer. I mean, I can't have little kids in mass with no vaccine, with social distancing. It doesn't work with 10-year-olds. No. And boxing is not really a sport where you kind of stay away from people, but it is what it is. I'll make the best of it. Julieta, how about you? Your shining moment in wrestling?
I don't think I can say shining, but it's the whole journey was shining, and with so many obstacles, and just to go through those obstacles, I still cannot make a conclusion. What is really, I never thought about that, because really there was so many things. But one of the things is. Even now, Olga is here, meeting Olga and being the lifetime friend and sister.
Developing a family, friendships that have been, but will be a lifelong. And most importantly, all the seeds that Julieta was talking about that we planted. And now there is almost every state, every high school, and all the are sanctioned high schools where the girls are in, and that's a big accomplishment. I think that we should all be happy. Thanks to Coach, thanks to a lot of men and a lot of women that have put the work in that, and it's still working, developing, and it's very strong right now. Those ladies are just super strong.
And people, sometimes you have students, younger ones, and they come to you. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought something was frozen.
No, Paul Benke's battery died.
Oh, okay, because I see two blank things. I mean, you can. Oh, okay. I said you.
It's dying out. It's dying out.
It's okay.
Oh, okay.
So in closing, do either you have anything to say to aspiring females in anything they do? Not just wrestling, not limited to wrestling, because you both had rough roads to get where you got. What would be your words of advice to young females who have a goal and it's not that easy for them?
Don't let anybody tell you what you cannot do. You have a goal, go and accomplish that. Do not let them stop you. You know the limit. Go for it. Work hard. Be determined. You can do it.
That's perfect.
It is very. It was very also inspiring to see, because I compete almost until I was 40 years old, 39, and then I saw that a lot of women also actually continue to pursue, and they continue to kind of later in their age, which was considered like, oh, we are grandmothers. Yeah, I was a grandmother. They call me grandmother, but that's okay. It kept me young. It didn't bother me. But then you see a lot of people who are really inspired at the age of 36, 37. They get world medals and stuff. So you, by your example, when people see you with your presence, they know. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to say anything. People you already talked, or I mentor also a lot of girls. I help a lot of women to lose weight just by talking to them. I've done that.
And leading by example.
And that's what it is, because this cannot be fake. This cannot be staged. We're not shooting a movie to put a makeup or something. We already have the makeup, and we just have to do the action, and
give it back.
Right.
Yes.
Just like you're doing, Paul.
Yeah, very simple, and people get the vibe, and especially now the time the era we're entering, everything, people are very, people want more real things, more truth, time to realize you stay at home, they didn't see you, but things are going to change a little bit with a different pace. So Corona is not good in some ways, but it's very good in most ways. That's my opinion. And people will overcome that, because they say after every big disasters, there's always a renaissance. And that's the renaissance, the new renaissance of the people. Things are changing. So that's how I see it. And the point that we're like sitting on those Zoom, and I can't even see very well those little figures, but this is how we connect.
Right.
We can travel, but we have different ways to connect, to talk and exchange and share stories. And John is going to broadcast that with different waves and editing and whatever you do.
Mike will do, yeah.
Mike,
Juliet.
Mike was the gentleman.
Mike, come back for 1 second. Bring Mike back.
Juliet, tell your friend the one coronavirus. Juliet, the one coronavirus. Tell her we love her. We hope she's doing good. Okay.
Yeah, she feels better. Tell her we hope she feels better.
Who is that?
Up soon. Yes. Unfortunately, she's not feeling that great yet, but she's on her way to recovery. She's very positive, and hopefully, John, you can have her and Catherine Shy, and we have
anytime.
A lot of girls that we have the contact that you could bring.
Yeah, well,
Michael.
Keep us posted on the dog. I hope that works out. I feel bad for the little guy.
Yeah.
When will you find out? When's he going back to the vet?
He went back today because he was bleeding through his thing, so they changed his bandage, and they're just monitoring if it's on the next maybe this week. If it doesn't, It's gonna have to.
Is it the front leg or back leg?
It's the back left leg. And because he's so young, they said, he's gonna manage. He's gonna adapt, and he will have a longer life than if.
Does it look like they're gonna have to go that route?
So far, yes. We got it.
Well, hopefully, is that in the.
And the second opinion was that yes, is the best thing to do. So we'll see.
Yeah, you don't want him to suffer too. He's probably in pain too. I mean,
yes, poor guy. You can see he's jumping into our bed. And I'm like, no, in the middle of the night, he jumps in there. I'm like, get out.
Because it probably hurts to lay on anything hard, or probably the mattress is comfortable for him. It's a shame. I hope he does okay though. What's his name?
Thank you. It's her, Nala.
Okay. I hope she ends up okay. But all right, guys, it's almost an hour. But thank you both so much for coming on. We'll love to have you back anytime. You bring someone with you, come by yourself, whatever you want to do. And I hope you had fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
We were not in a full swing, but thank you so much, Paul, because just by sharing, it's always like teaching. It's always when you teach, you learn twice. Remember, we were talking about this one. And just by bringing our memories, actually, make us realize more things. So I'm happy, and I'm going to have a small whiskey when I finish that.
That's good for the training. That's always good. That enhances the training. Always.
Yes.
Makes better athletes.
Just a symbolic one, but it takes a lot of emotion sometimes, and those a long conversation. But if we have to cover and be honest, yes, it was very nice also to meet you the other time, John, and Olga, always by my side. Always supporting me, and that's how I survived, actually.
Yeah.
So,
we're here for each other. Thank you so much.
And that's what came out of. If nothing else came out of your wrestling days, if only that's a huge thing. So that's all that matters.
Yes, a lot of amazing friendships all over the United States.
And it's around the world. I can knock in any door around the world, and you say you're a wrestler, and the door opens for you. Of course, for every athlete, but for wrestlers, it's a very, very unique way of just
welcoming and
I call Japan, and it's like, yeah, here we go, just come over, and that's how the family works. And people die to have you have so many people with finances, and they sponsor, they help, but sometimes the idea is just to be in touch, to be close to those people, to be close to celebrities. So being an athlete, doesn't matter. It has a special energy. Not everybody, you can buy it with money. So that's the thing. We do things you can buy with money. Everything else can be bought. And of course, you need money to execute certain things, but actually you can do it. And there's always somebody around who can help you. And broadcasting now, photography, broadcasting, those are huge attributes to just keep athletes and former athletes, their pride and recognition. So basically, with this one, you recognize our personas. We recognize you and Mike and Paul and Olga who are going to work, because it's a whole orchestra. There's not only one violin. I mean, when I'm coaching, I said I'm the first violin. Nobody, no, Olga knows.
I'm it.
Because we know what we're doing, and you guys know what you're doing, and thank you. So,
all right, thank you both so much. We're about to go over an hour, and Mike's going to get really mad at us. So let's get out of it.
Bye-bye. Exactly an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty close. We're good. It's perfect. If we keep going, we got to cut things out. We don't want to do that.
Absolutely. So thank you so much again.
No, thank you both sincerely.
Michael,
I'll talk to you both very soon, okay?
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.